So, good day everyone. So for today's topic, or for today's lesson, we have the Philippine animations. So for today's lesson, we have four topics. So first we have the history of animation. Then the next is the studios here, or the animation studios here in the Philippines. The next is the Filipino animators abroad and their contributions for the animation industries. The next is the Philippine animation. So examples sa Philippine animations. Then atong i-identify. So i-identify to ang ilang type o sa type ng animation yung kanang mga Philippine animations kana dinhi. So in this discussion we have the objectives. So for today's lesson, or for at the end of the discussion, students should be able to first discuss the history of Philippine animation. The second objective is to identify the animation studios in the Philippines. The third one is to know the Filipino animators abroad, so and their contribution to the big animation industries. So and lastly we have the know some Filipino animations and identify the types of animation that is being used in the animation. So let's head out to the first topic, which is the history of animation. So the Philippine animation industry traces its origin back to the 1980s, so being one of the earlier players in the industry with the local Philippine animation industry scene being around for already 20 years. So the Philippines is considered one of the strongest Asian players in the realm of animation globally. So originally Filipino cartoons began with the publication of local comic books, so known as comics. So during the late 1920s, Filipino writer Romualdo Ramos and Filipino visual artist Antonio Tony Velasquez created the cartoon character named Kenkoy. So as early as the 1980s, though, the animation industry has already been present in the Philippines. So our local animators have thus been providing animation services for over 30 years. So beside Finding Nemo, Filipino are the talents. So ang Filipino daw kay mga talents behind sa mga esteemed cartoons and animation films from the likes of Scooby-Doo. So Scooby-Doo. Next is Tom and Jerry. So next is the Incredibles, the Dragon Ball Z, Captain Planet, The Mask, and all the big names in the entertainment industry such as Walt Disney, Warner Brothers, Cartoon Networks, and Marvel. Now, let's head to the next topic, which is the studios here, or the animation studios in the Philippines. So, first studio, we had the 9 Lives Animation Studio. So, 9 Lives Animation Studios is a full-service animation and graphic design company. So, this studio is capable of providing high-quality 2D digital animation, comics, mangas, game assets animation, flash, 3D, CG animation, illustrations, concept designs, and more. So, the next animation studios here is Animation Outsourced. So, Animation Outsourced started in 2012. So, Animation Outsourced is a full-service animation studio with a production facility in the Philippines and with clients worldwide. So, they created awesome animations for explainer videos, so cartoon series, TV, and web content, so e-learning and custom projects. So, their team consists of animation storyboard artists, graphic designers, and storytellers. The next animation studios, we have the Emotoon Studios. So this is a studio located in Cebu. So Philippines that specialize in 2D cartoon animations and creating our own opportunity in animation industries. So the studio was founded by Fillmore Amodia in 2009. So they started with simple illustration projects wherein they were commissioned to create the assets and animation. And in the following years, they worked on making or explanation videos, so animated music videos and short animation. So for the last animation studios, we have the Seabiscuits Films. So Seabiscuit Films specializes in producing food, travel, and lifestyle content. So the company takes pride in coming up with great audio-visual solutions to a myriad of commercial, corporate, so artistic, and personal needs. So for the third topic, we have the Filipino animators abroad, and their roots and their contribution to the big animation industries. So the first Filipino animator, we have Nelson Bohol. So Pixar's Nelson Ray Bohol was part of Inside Out, the movie Inside Out. So Monsters University, Brave, Wall-E, Ratatouille, Cars, and Finding Nemo. So he graduated in architecture in Manuel L. Quezon University and has joined Pixar in August 2000. For the second animator, we have Ruben Aquino. So while working for Disney, Ruben Aquino became part of the films Winnie the Pooh, The Princess and the Frog, Lilo and Stitch. So he won the Outstanding Achievements in Characters Animation Awards in International Animated Society 26th Annual Annie Awards. So the third one is Arman Serrano. So one of the brains behind films such as Big Hero 6, Brother Bear, and Lilo and Stitch. So is Walt Disney's visual development artist, Arman Serrano. So he worked at Sony and was part of Hotel Transylvania and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball films. So he's been working in the industry for almost 3 decades now. Next, or the fourth one, we have Mars Cabrera. So animator and layout artist Mars Cabrera formed parts of films such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sabrina, the animated series, and Joseph, to name a few. So he earned Bachelor's of Fine Arts at University of Santo Tomas. So we have the fifth one, so which is Josie Trinidad. So Walt Disney story artist Josie Trinidad became part of the films such as Zootopia, Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled, and The Princess and the Frog. So she is a graduate of CalArts Characters Animation Program. So we have the sixth animator, which is Bobby Pantillas. So Zootopia is the most work of Bobby Pantillas. So he is a character designer and animator of Walt Disney Animation. So likewise, he has shown his skills in films such as Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, Rio, and Ice Age 4. So he's an Oscar nominee for Best Animated Short Films for One Small Step. So we have the seventh animator, which is Virginia Cruz Santos. So Virginia Cruz Santos graduated in University of Santo Tomas. So Jeannie Cruz Santos is among those behind the movies such as The Incredibles. So she studied fine arts major in advertising at UST before she became part of Pixar. Now we have the eighth animator, which is Ronnie Del Carmen. So Pixar story artist and designer Ronnie Del Carmen is part of Inside Out, Wall-E, Finding Nemo, The Road to El Dorado, and The Prince of Egypt. So he was one of the story writers and co-directors for the 2015 Pixar film Inside Out, for which he was nominated for an Academy Awards for Best Original Screenplay. So for the last animator or Filipino animator, we have Cesar Velasquez. So before effects supervisor Cesar Velasquez joined Disney, he was a Warner Digital Studios programmer and effects animator, and Sites effects animator as well. So he was part of the film Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled, Bolt, and Chicken Little. And now we are in our last topic, which is the Philippine animation examples or Philippine animations, and to identify the types of animation used in the animation or the examples in animation. So the first animation we have is the Ibong Adarna, which is published in 1997. So based on the famous local epic about a mythical bird and the three prince. So this local animated movies featured the voice of famous actors and singers. This includes Regine Velasquez, Martin Rivera, Boots Arson Roa, Marvin Agustin, and Julia Magdangal. So who gave voice to the mythical bird? So Jerry Garcia, the pioneer of Philippine animation, was the writer and the director of the film. So awarded as the first full-length Filipino animated film. So Ibong Adarna adapted the story of the infamous folktale and turned into cartoon. So it took animators plenty of time to finish voice recording, drawing, and storyboard as part of the cell animation technique. So this is a cell animation technique. And for the next animation or the next Philippine animation, we have Ordaha, that is published in 2008. So this 100-minute film showed the life and struggles of Princess Ordaha, a warrior princess in Pangasinan. So actors Regine Velasquez, Cesar Montano, Eddie Garcia, Johnny Delgado, and Jay Manalo formed the cast and giving voices to the lead characters. So Ordaha is a product of teamwork among groups of Filipino animators who used the traditional animation process of hand drawing. So for the next animation, we have Dayo sa Mundo ng Elementia. So this movie was finished in 2008. So this movie showed the adventures of an 11-year-old boy as he attempted to rescue his kidnapped grandparents. So his quest led him to a mythical land called Elementia, which housed popular local creatures of mythology such as Kapre, Aswang, and Tikbalang. So Dayo started voice actors Nash Aquas, Michael V, Peggy Galaga, and Trina Legaspi. So a mix of traditional and 3D animation. So the film became the country's first all-digital full-length animation feature. Over 500 animators worked on the 2D animation and the characters and the 3D animation scenes backdrop. So the fourth animator, we have the RPG Metanoia, which is published in 2010. So RPG Metanoia shares the story of a timid young online gaming fan named Nico. Every time Nico plays Metanoia, an MMORPG, he turns into an unpredictable wanderer equipped with a magic yo-yo and startling agility. So the film used the voice of Zayan Harania and Aga Mulak, Mika Del Cruz, Vong Navarro, and Eugene Domingo. So RPG became the first full-length 3D animated film in the Philippines. And the last animation, or the last Philippine animation, we have Saving Sally. So this is a story of a teenage love between a young aspiring comic book artist and the gadget inventor. So Saving Sally depicts a Manila state of mind in Marty's world. So in here, a huge animated monster roam the streets of Manila while tackling the characters' yearning and the country's current rampant issues. So Enzo Marcos gave the life of Marty's role, while Raya Ramos played Sally. So behind the nice story and visual of Saving Sally, hides the entire staff and cast struggles. So it is perhaps the toughest in the list because the film took a decade or 10 years before it finally reached the cinema. So it ran out of funds, faced problems with the initial casting, and endured arduous ending work. So but it is worth the long wait. So what makes Saving Sally great artwork is its mixed 2D and live actors.